government or you're employed with another employer, they even trust you more than they trust me. I might be making more money than you, I might have more asset than you, but they actually trust you because you're employed by someone else, so the risk is with someone else, not with you. At the end of the month, you don't have to worry about you getting your salary. So your employer is the one that makes sure that the first people that they pay is their employees, then their suppliers, then everyone else. And they are the last people to get paid. So that's why they don't trust us as self-employed people or as business people, and they trust you as an employee more than they trust us to give you the money. So you are most likely to get more money than I would ordinarily. So that's the first thing that I want to give you as a nugget, right? To say you can use your payslip to actually build your wealth. So use your payslip to get good debt, not bad debt. What is the difference between good debt and bad debt? Good debt is the debt that actually pays you at the end of the month. And then bad debt is the one that actually only takes money out of your pockets. So those are the difference between a good debt and a bad debt. So a good debt, it puts you in a position to be able to even acquire more debt. You know the bank is always happy to give you money. Who knows that? How many of you know that the business of the bank is actually to loan out money? So that's how the money is. Who knows how money is created? There's two ways that money is created. Money is printed. It's printed both physically by those notes that we draw at the ATM, and also it's printed digitally. How is it printed digitally? By the banks themselves. So what do? They deposit 100 rand at the Reserve Bank, and then they loan out up to 10,000 rand using this 100 rand that they actually deposit at the Reserve Bank. And then they now charge you up to 27.5% interest on that particular money, and then that's how they actually create money. So money is created both physically by printing it physically by the Reserve Bank, and digitally by being created by creating debt. So the bank needs a reason to give you money. So one of the reasons, when you go to a bank and you say, I want a loan, I want to take my kids to school, but your kid is not guaranteed a job. So it's risky. It is a reason, it's risky. So that's why they charge you a high interest rate, right? And then you say, okay, I want a loan and I want to buy a car. That's a reason. But also, you can crash that car and not stop paying them. And the car is a depreciating asset. And also you can lose your job and stop paying. Then they have to repossess. Now they're carrying costs to collect that car and then resell it to someone else. So that's another process that they have to incur the cost. It is a reason, but it's a little bit risky for them. And you say, okay, I want to start a business. That's another reason. But it's a very risky reason too then. To say, okay, we want to give you money, but your reason for us giving you the money, it's a little bit risky. But then they sat as bankers around the table. I can imagine how this bond came about. Bankers came around and sat on the table and they said, okay guys, how can we loan more money in a most secure way, right? And they thought of a property. So then they said, okay, here's an asset, it's immovable, so we know that 10 years from today, this piece of land, it's not going anywhere. 50 years from today, this piece of land is not going anywhere. The same amount of land that existed 1,000 years ago, it's still the same amount of land that exists today. God is not making any new land. So therefore, you must make yourself a favor, Bantwana Basekai. Grab yourself some land. Own a piece of Africa, so that you can be proud to be African. You can't just call yourself an African without owning a piece of Africa. So therefore, the bank saw that to say, okay, this is not going anywhere. No one can come and steal this land. You can go home, I can come back 10 years later. This land would still be here. It can be hijacked, but not stolen. So therefore, it's a good reason for the bank to loan you money. What do they then do? Okay, this is a safe asset for us to loan money against. So therefore, we can even extend the loan to say, okay, for the next 20 years, you can pay us back. We are comfortable. Which other loan, type of loan, that you can get for that loan? I personally don't know any loan that I can get from the bank that can give me a term of 30 years. You can get up to 30 years loan term. You know why? Because the reason for them loaning you money, it's a good one. And they can make more money by giving you that money over and over and over and over again. The last point that I want to make, to say, all the properties that you are investing in, invest in cash flow positive properties. What does that mean? So meaning that the property that you buy must pay for itself, pay for its expenses, and still pay you at the end of the month.